Hey everyone, this is your favorite radio host, your only radio host and favorite girl, of course, Corine Lafont, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know, I always start my show off being thankful. I'm so thankful to be here. It's a beautiful, sunny, blue sky, little puffy clouds. Now, my teacher isn't here to test me on the type of clouds, but I think it's those little wispy ones. You know, they're called what? Cirrus, Nimbulus, whatever, Cumulus, whatever. Lord, it's a good thing I'm not being tested right now. But those nice little wispy ones that just looks like, you know, angel hair. Yeah? Angel hair in the sky. So it's absolutely beautiful, and the sun is streaming in. The weather may change a little bit, but I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. I love it. I love being able to be here to witness that and experience it and see the glory of the day and in everything. And I'm just so excited for the day and what is to come. Yeah? Oh my God. And wherever anyone is at this point in time, just be thankful for where you are. There's a reason for being where you are, physically, mentally, spiritually. Just recognize where you are and learn from it. Ask the universe, ask, you know, your higher source, what am I supposed to learn? You know, if you take that position of asking, what am I to learn from this? What are you trying to teach me? It puts a different perspective and mind shift on everything. Believe me. Just stop fretting, worrying, getting all worked up, and just say, what am I to learn from this? Help me to see, help me to submit, help me to just give in to you. Tell me what it is that you want me to learn, and just stay quiet and the answers will come to you. Yeah? Stop working up yourself unnecessarily, people. It's not worth it. We need to get younger as we get older. That's how it works. You're looking for the fountain of youth. It's already in you. It's all in your mind. All right, and today I have with me Anita Wilson. She has the most beautiful haircut. I'm thinking about doing that with my hair, but then that means I have to grow my hair out. Oh, Lord. She has the most beautiful haircut and beautiful smile. She's gorgeous, Anita Wilson. Let me tell you a bit about her. And today we're talking about I am more than my body. Let me repeat that. I am more than my body. You may not understand that, and that's why you need to be listening to this show. So I am more than my body. So let me tell you a bit about her. She sent me this long bio. Let me see if I can try and make sense out of it by cutting it a bit. Let's see now. I'm going to just read the whole thing. Combine the spiritual gifts of creative communication, teaching, wisdom, and faith, and you have Anita Wilson. I think that sums her up. She's a Christian speaker and author writing under the pen name Alias in Town, which is an anagram of her name. Imagine that. Alias in Town was purposely chosen as a pen name because there are alias people in every town living with chronic illness, addiction, and depression. Anita Wilson is an alias in town. And many of us are probably aliases and we don't even realize. She writes for them because she has learned multiple coping and life strategies to be well. She says, I am more than my body. I am body, mind, and spirit. She's made up of three. My body is simply the weakest unit of the triad. Though chronic illness affects the entire triad, I have, or she has, made considerable effort to strengthen her mind and spirit to find the balance of Well, which is a book excerpt from Well, a Memoir. Her style of writing is to create art journals. She has an art website, let me just mention it, and later on in the show I'll feature that. She utilizes short essays to tell her story in words. She creates original artwork to tell her story through the end of a paintbrush. Beautiful. She includes personal journal entries to remain open, honest, and raw in her writing, just like how we're doing this recording, raw as is. Anita has more than 25 years of experience in public speaking. She has experience in pulpit fullment. I don't know what that is. She'll tell us about it. Creating curriculum and leading women's retreats, women ministry events, and prayer retreats. So she's clearly coming from a spiritual background. Attending an event where she is presenting is an investment in an experience. Her teaching style is interactive and includes multimedia art forms. She's the author of Well A Memoir, detailing her journey through the brokenness of chronic illness, depression, and addiction to being well. Gosh, those three things people are suffering from right now. She also authored Hebrew Names of God, my favorite, She's going to share that. I love that. Something resonated with that with me about how characters in the Old Testament had miraculous encounters with God and gave him a name combining who he is and what he had done for them. She is the mother of 6 children. No, that is a lie. She doesn't look like she has one. And 7 grandchildren. Oh my God, that makes it worse. She resides in Central Ohio with her husband of 35 years. Anita Wilson is a featured speaker on womenspeakers.com. And of course, you can visit her website at aliasintown.com, which we're going to feature later in the show. Hi, Anita, and welcome to Between the Lines.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Excited to be here.
So listen to me. Mind, body, and spirit. I am more than my body. Let's get straight to it. I am more than my body. Look here, Anita. I am more than my body. Most people don't know this because they only work with what they see and know.
It's so true.
The tangible. They look in the mirror, they see their body. They talk to people, people see their body. They touch their body, they bathe in the morning. Yes, they brush their teeth. Yes,
right.
That's all they know. If we don't have something tangible to feel, to see, to experience, then it is not real, it is not so, it is not existing. They cannot relate to it. So I am more than my body is a significant. I chose that when I looked at your information. I chose that specifically because we're going into a new year, and I think people need to awaken from your slumber, which is probably another topic I should talk about or probably include in this. Awaken.
Oh, sleep or awake.
Yes, people are sleeping. They are dead. They are walking dead. They don't know that they are more than their body. Explain to us that concept, because it may be a concept to a lot of people, but it is more than a concept to people like us. Explain to people what that means.
Sure. The reason I say that is because I live with a chronic illness. And so my physical body is just not as strong as the average person's because of the illness. And so because of that, I need to strengthen the rest of who I am. I am also not just a physical being. I am also a spiritual being. And so it's so important that I strengthen my spiritual self and, make sure I put the appropriate disciplines in my life in order to make sure that my spirit stays strong. And also my mind. My mind needs to stay sharp as well. And so to incorporate activities in my life where it keeps my mind sharp. But who I am is more than just my physical being. If I had to live out of my physical state, I would be in trouble. So I try to live as the source of my life through my spirit instead of through my body. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And just last night, by happen chance, I came upon, I listened to Pastor R.C. Blakes. I don't know if you know about him, but he's very, very good. You should check him out. R.C. Blakes Jr. on YouTube. He has some fabulous videos called Let's Talk. And I mean, I've been giving him a lot of promo on my show lately because I listen to him every day since finding him. I found him some time ago, but now, if you work with the spirit, you would be led in the right direction.
Yes.
And that is really what I have been doing. And that's what you have decided to do, because you realize that of the 3 aspects of you, the body is actually the weakest, because there's a part in the Bible, I don't know where it is, that speaks about the flesh is weak. And people will always say the flesh is weak, and the flesh is the body. It is weak. It is weak, and we succumb to things because of the flesh. Whenever things like lust and those type of things, those are things of the flesh. It is not of the spirit. And it is not of the spirit. And he was saying last night in his talk, he spoke about the same kind of thing, mind, body, and spirit. And he says, really, you're supposed to be strengthening the spirit, which will direct the mind to tell the body what to do. If you allow the body to be the one to dictate what happens, it's going to tell the mind and the spirit what to do. You have to know which one. You have to realize the one that really should be taking direction.
That's true.
Taking charge is really the spirit, not the flesh.
That's so true.
Not the body.
Right. And you know, the thing is, your spirit, your soul is really the essence of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, I feel like when I think about myself and my spiritual self, I don't think I've changed since my earliest memory. You
Not
know,
at all. No.
I've grown, but I am just the same person
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what's going on in my physical world.
Of
And
course.
it transcends, your spirit transcends
Of
all of
course.
those things.
Of course.
And, and, you know, it's so important to pay attention to that part of yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
your body is just going to continue to deteriorate and
Yeah.
eventually die.
Of
But
course.
your spirit lives on forever, in my opinion.
Of course. Your spirit was there before you took physical form.
Right,
This is
exactly.
why God knew you before you were born. He knows
Exactly.
your path, he knows your destination, he knows what he has in store for you. So when you took physical form, I mean it's just temporary. But
Right,
when that body disintegrates and dies, physically dies, your spirit still lives on. And
exactly.
it doesn't change except to, as you say, transcend, to get better, to,
Yes.
to move at a higher level. So, spiritually, you're at a particular level now. And the more you connect with your spirit and your source and God, is the higher you go.
Hmm.
If you allow, and awaken and get to know
Yes.
what God has in store for you, you become even higher and closer and more powerful and more successful and more aligned. And when
Mm.
you become more aligned, you start to resonate with what your spirit wants for you. You
Yes.
know?
Oh, aligned is a great word. It's a
Yes,
great word to think about, that vertical
yes,
connection between
yes.
yourself and God, and to align yourself with that. It's, you know, and it's so important. Sometimes when you talk about spiritual practices,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it feels almost cliche to say, well, yes, read your scripture and pray, but those things are so important.
Mm-hmm.
Have an attitude of gratitude.
Yes,
That's another thing too that will just really help build your spirit, is to just be grateful.
yeah.
Be grateful every day.
For
And
everything, good and the not so good. Good
exactly.
and the not so good. Because
Oh,
as we
'cause
were saying before, it's to teach you a lesson.
exactly. It does teach you a lesson. You
Mm-hmm.
need to abide. Is
Mm-hmm.
I think probably the two key words, I think, for me, to try to describe how I try to live my life, would be
Mm-hmm.
two words, would be abide
Mm-hmm.
and surrender.
Oh yes.
So abiding and staying within God's will, and
Mm-hmm.
staying within his presence as much as I can,
Yeah.
abiding there,
Mm-hmm.
and then surrendering, letting go of my own idea of what I should be doing, or my own um, plans, or my own
Mm-hmm.
uh, thoughts about how I should be, and what I should do, and who I should please,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surrender all of that and just allow God to live through my life,
Mm-hmm.
and let him use me as his tool.
Mm-hmm.
That
Surrendering is a difficult thing for most of us to do because we
it
feel
is.
we know it all. And
Yes.
it comes back to, we are physical. God is spiritual and we can't see him. So I'm only going
Mhm.
to work with what I could see and feel, right?
Right, exactly.
And so
Yeah.
you feel, I'm seeing and feeling. I'm moving around with other humans, etc. on this earth, the plants, the animals. I mean, God is spirit. What you're not seeing, you're not feeling. Well, you could feel him if you're really connected, but you're not seeing. And so
Right.
you would feel, I have control over this. I am here. I am here. I am here.
Yes.
Not knowing
He,
that God is everywhere at any
uh,
time. Yeah.
he is. He surrounds us all the time. I love, there's a scripture that says that you just reach out and touch him, for he is here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's so near us, and you're right, we forget that so many times. We just get so caught up
Mhm.
in living in this very physical world that we have, that we forget that we are continually surrounded by God and
Yeah.
surrounded by his presence.
Oh yeah.
And he's right there. All we have to do is just turn our attention just a
Yes.
little
Just
bit.
turn your attention, just a little. Yeah. I
Yes.
love that. Turn your attention just a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's right there.
He's not even saying a full 360 or 180. Just a little bit.
Exactly. Yes.
Just
He does
turn your
so much
eyes.
with so little.
Yeah, just a gaze. Just move your eyes. Shift. You don't even have to shift your body. Just shift
Yeah.
your gaze. And that's
Yes.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
But surrendering and abiding. And I love that. And abide comes with obedience.
Yes.
For you to surrender and abide, it means to say that you must be obedient to his will, meaning as a
Mm-hmm.
child, to listen, to follow, to hear when he speaks, and you just say, all right, that's what I'm going to do.
Yes, exactly.
Without questioning, without questioning. You just say, and without, just with the faith, Anita, of
I wish it were as easy to do as it is to say.
I know, but it is, listen, it is. It is. It takes for me, and I'm talking from experience here, a
Mhm.
spiritual strength as you grow, because we grow in spirituality.
Yes, we
It
do.
doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
In the same way, I mean, just like how you would study for a degree, or you're doing a course, or you're parenting, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes
Right.
time. So I don't understand why people think that working with God is going to happen overnight, although he can do overnight miracles in your life.
Sure, sure. But it's that one step at a time
Mm-hmm.
that you take every day.
Mm-hmm.
In the book I talk about, there's a scripture in Deuteronomy
Mm-hmm.
that says that where God is talking to the children of Israel, and he says, today I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life.
Mm-hmm.
And when we make the choices to choose life, we're making the little decisions. It's not like a great big decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we have to make this huge decisions all the time. It's the little decisions that we make every day that means choosing life. It is turning off the TV and going for a walk instead.
Oh yeah.
It is making that phone call to that friend that you had an argument with and getting forgiveness and patching the relationship. It is little choices, little things that we do that choosing life. Even doing the dishes can be something that is a choice that
Yeah.
allows you to have a more fulfilling life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Just the simple chores and the simple little choices that we make every day,
Yeah.
we choose to live life in abundance.
Yeah. And the simple things is what help us to learn the biggest lessons. If
Boy,
we
that's
just
true.
if we just step back and just be present. I've been following Eckhart Tolle's
Mhm.
book, and you just want to be present. There's no past, there's no future, there is now.
Yes.
Everything is now. And Eckhart make reference to, like in the Garden of Eden, you couldn't ask what time is it. They had no idea what time it was.
That's true. That is so true.
There's no
Adam
time.
and Eve didn't have a watch.
Yeah, there wasn't any such thing. And they wouldn't know. They'd be like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What language are you speaking? What do you mean time? What is that?
Yes.
What do
Yes.
you mean? The trees wouldn't be able to answer you. The animals, no. They'd be like, what? What do you mean by time? What do you There is only now. There is only right now.
Yes.
So,
And being fully present in that moment is
yeah,
important.
yeah. And tomorrow would be now, and the next day would be now, and next
Yes.
day would be now. And
Yeah. I always try to practice mindfulness.
yes,
It's something that I've been trying to incorporate more and more into my own life. It's just to be mindful of the moment I'm in
yes,
right now, like you
right
said.
now.
There's only now.
Yeah,
And pay attention to what's going on around you, because you can miss so many little things that are so important and can make you so happy.
yeah.
And if you aren't mindful, or especially if you're dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, you're going to miss what's happening right now.
Your mind does a real great job with that. Your mind does that. It helps you go through
It does.
self-torture. It helps to torture you forever and
Right.
puts you through shame, blame, and guilt, Anita. And it will
Yes.
replay that track over and over and over and over until you shut it up. You
Right.
have to shut it up. It's so funny. It's so interesting how the body, we're talking about the body, and it's made up of those three areas, mind, body, and soul kind of thing. And it's amazing how they work against you.
Yes.
They
It
work
is.
against you and they're working for you. So there's, the tale of the two wolves with is it the Cherokee story. You know, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. You should
No,
check
I'm
it
not.
out.
I haven't.
The tale of the two worlds, where this uncle was teaching his nephew. You know, there are two sides to us, the good and the bad, and you
Yes.
know, yeah. And he says, which one will win? And he said, whichever one you feed. So we
Ah.
have to decide which one we're going to feed, because you have the side with lust, anxiety, anger, resentment, and you have the other side that is really about abundance and living and truth and those sides. Which is the one we feed? So we
Yes.
we have to decide which one we want to, how we want to live our life. Are we going to live our life in anger, resentment, you know, feeding the
Right.
body, feeding the mind, as opposed to the spirit, which really can dictate to the
Right.
mind and the body how to really live.
And what is interesting is that the negative side of things are
Mhm.
the most hungry beasts.
That is
And
that is it. Yeah.
they are the most hungry beasts, and so they demand the most of your attention. Where
Yes.
to feed the spirit is a quiet
Yeah.
thing, and it's something that you have to pay attention to. It's like going on a diet. You know, you have to pay attention to how I'm going to feed my spirit, and I have to
Yeah.
be intentional about it.
Yeah.
Because
I
the
love
other
that.
things are hungry, 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 and they're going to demand your attention.
I
Unless,
love that. I love that, Anita.
yeah,
I love that. Why is that? Let us talk about that. Why is that part of your body
I think that,
demanding so much attention? Why? Can't we recognize that is happening? Look how still, peaceful,
yes,
and quiet and contented the other side is. But yet the other side, which is so negative for us, that
mm-hmm.
is eating us apart, eating us from the inside
It
out,
is.
is demanding more to eat you out. Why?
Yes, you know, I would if I knew the answer to that, I would be able to save the world. But I imagine, or I believe that the reason why it demands so much attention from us is because it goes back to what we were talking about before, where it says that the flesh is weak.
Mm,
It's when something is weak that it cries out for more nourishment.
mm,
And I think that because we are our flesh is a weak thing, our appetite
mm-hmm.
becomes stronger
Yes.
because it's something that's weak needs to be fed more, and so it gets more hungry.
So how do we tame that? So let's put it back to the diet, like you were saying, because
Yes,
at that moment, you're weak. At that moment, your cravings start popping up. All the things, you're going crazy. Your body's
right.
going through withdrawal. What do we do at that time when the body's craving for something that we know is going to work against us?
But I tell you what, I really believe in practicing spiritual disciplines. Because
Mm-hmm.
I in my book I talk about a time where I had gone through a suicide attempt,
Whoa. Mm-hmm.
and while I was in the psychiatric hospital, I was not connected at all to what was going on around me. My mind was just fried,
Wow.
but I heard clearly scripture that would just pour through my mind over and over and over again, these verses that God would just place in my mind.
Hmm.
And it was because I had taken the time in my life to read scripture and to memorize it and to have it be part of who I was. And so
Mm.
if we spend the time to discipline ourselves in the spiritual disciplines, such as reading scripture, praying, gratitude, time in solitude,
Mm.
when we have come up to a point where our flesh is weak, we will have the resources then to draw from.
Hmm.
It's kind of like if you know, you want to play the violin.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the moment, when you need to do a violin concert,
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't put in the practice, you're going to fail at the concert.
I love that.
But if you put in the practice, you can succeed at the concert.
Yeah,
And
I love
so
that.
when you're on the spot, when the temptations come and when things are difficult and you're getting this demand of all those negative things in your life,
Mm-hmm.
if you have taken the time to build up the spiritual side of yourself, those things, those tools will come into play right when you need them.
I love that. And you know, coming back to your story being in the psychiatric ward after your attempt, you did not have the will to call on it. It's not like because you were lying down there still, your body, you couldn't do it. You weren't thinking. It's not like you say, "Oh God, come and help." No, you didn't will it into your being.
Exactly.
But it came. The spirit is just there, sitting, waiting on that opportune moment to when it realizes, oh my God, she's weak.
Yes.
We have to run to her aid. We have to help her. Whatever little we can do to let her know we're still here. We're still here for you. We're still here supporting you. It came to you. So I love that. I love that, Anita, because you know, I look at people, and I mean, you say you have a chronic illness. There are a lot of people who have terminal illnesses, etc., and they may be laid up in bed.
Right.
And it's like they know what's coming, but they live. They decide, they were probably not living like that before. They were all consumed with the illness, the terminality of it, etc. And then they realize, what the hell? What am I doing?
Right.
I am not going to make this thing take me over. And so they start getting more spiritual. They start saying, no, I am going to live longer than this. I am going to live my life. There's a mind shift when they realize the worrying is not helping me. The fretting, the quarreling, the cussing, the blaming is not helping me. So they do a mind shift. And these people live longer than expected. Sometimes sometimes the disease goes away and it goes in remission because I believe the spirit has come in, has recognized that they have submitted, abided, surrendered, and it heals them.
Yes, yes. And you know, healing, even if it isn't a physical healing, there is a healing that can happen for me, I would have to just testify and say that the healing for me has happened in my spirit and in my mind.
Yes.
God has healed me.
Yes.
And I used to pray over and over and over again, God, please take this illness away from me. And I still pray that. I believe that he can and he may.
Yeah, he's the best doctor.
He really is. But even if he doesn't, even so, it is well with my soul.
Yes, I love that.
Yes. And so the healing that has taken place in me has taken place in my spirit and taken place in my mind. And I was in a very broken place about 6 years ago. But God was there. He showed up. And because
he showed up.
Like we said before, he's just right there. And he showed up.
He showed up. That man never fails, Anita. I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, I have challenged God to try and prove him wrong. And I said, it's just a fun thing I do with him every now and again. And I'm gonna show you up. I'm gonna show you up. You did not show up here. You said you were gonna do this. That didn't happen. And I'm like, okay, okay, you won.
Yeah, exactly. He always does. He just kind of, and I can see him now as this great father that just pats his little one on the head and goes, okay, you throw your little fit now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be right here when you're done.
Right? He is so funny because he does things. And I'm like, I would look up at him and I'm like, really? Like, really? You really had to do that, right?
The way he guides and directs our lives is such a mystery.
Yes, it is.
And you don't see it while you're in the moment, while you're in the middle of it. But what is so amazing to me is that I can look back and I can see God's faithfulness.
Oh yes.
When I look back.
If we only continue to do that, because how did we make it to this point, Anita? We're in 2018 going to 2019.
Yes.
And everybody, whether they're listening to this now or they will be listening to the replay, they have gone through some crazy shit. I am telling you. And at the moment you were like, oh my God, if you call God's name, how am I going to get out of this? And here you are today. So clearly you have gotten out of it, or you have managed it, or something that you are still standing.
Yes.
How? It cannot be of you. It cannot be of you.
Yeah. it can't be. Abide and surrender. That was my part.
Yeah.
My part was to abide and surrender, and the
Just
rest.
give it up. Just give it up. Let it go.
Yep,
Get your white
exactly.
flag and wave it. Get your white flag and wave it.
Yes. Yeah, that is so true. I have to walk around with that white flag all the time.
Yeah.
You know, just constantly wave my white flag.
Wave your white flag. Yeah. I've given up. I've given
Yeah.
up. Yeah. Yeah. I'm letting go.
I always, for some reason, I tend to think I can fix my own problems sometimes, and I still, well, you know, I can't fix my own problems. I have a source of strength.
Of course.
A source of help.
Yes.
And I need to tap into that source.
Yes.
And when I do, when I'm faithful to do that, He is faithful.
Oh yes, we tend to tap into other sources that we think is better than God. So our friends,
so true.
Our friends, our family, our neighbors, the people who know nothing, and we go to them for advice. When you know, and I have been recently having that little conversation. I guess it's Him coming to me in my head saying, "Corine, you keep going to this one. You're not coming to me." And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to come back." And you know, He keeps reminding me, I am the one you should be talking to, and I keep going back to Him.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about earlier. It's that pull of us to want to find something more tangible, something real quick, you know. And it's that pull because those beasts are hungry, like we said before. And we want to find a quick answer when really to abide and surrender to God is the answer. Yeah,
and there's a quick answer too, because when He tells me what to do, it resonates with me, Anita. It resonates, and I just act.
It does.
I don't even hesitate. As He tells me, I feel it in my body, in my spirit, in my soul. And I'm like, yes, yes. And I will even answer outwardly, yes, Lord. I hear you. Thank you for the word. Thank you for the word. And I act on it immediately. Because when He tells you, you have to act.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't act, then you're disobedient. Like you said before, it's about obedience.
Yeah.
And that is so important. So important.
You wanna share with us, Anita? You said you are going through a chronic illness, and you found, and God came to you at certain times. Would you mind sharing with us what has happened with you in your life? Because sharing your story tends to help others who are out there, and your attempts at suicide, and why were you thinking that way? Why would you give up on yourself? When, as you said, there is a source of strength, that you're a spiritual being. You have a Father that loves you. You know, tell us, share with us what's going on there, so that persons can really, myself, relate with what's going on.
Well, what happened? This was about 6 years ago now. Over 6 years ago. And I had done what a lot of people do. I had taken my eyes off of God. I had quit the spiritual practices that can bring you life. And I had the illness that I have. I suffer with vertigo a lot. And someone had given me advice that alcohol would help with the vertigo. And I took that bad advice and ended up addicted to alcohol. And that sent my depression into a spiral. And because I had taken my eyes off of God, I had lost my source. And so I ended up in a place where I was so depressed and so down, and so I felt so overwhelmed by my illness. I had lost my career. I had lost what I thought I lost my identity, because I was trying to put my identity in something other than who I was in God. And I just got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I tried to commit suicide. My friends and family were right there. They held an intervention for me, and I went into treatment, and God, like I said before, God showed up in that psychiatric hospital, and He was there, and all it took was for me to make that one little glance His way, by accepting the help that I received from my family and friends, taking that one little glance, and then God showed up and rescued me from all of that and brought me out. And so I took my name and rearranged the letters and came up with Alias in town, because I know there are other people that suffer from depression or thoughts of suicide, or even addictions to alcohol or other substances.
Yes.
And they are alias people that live in every town. And that's what I went through. And if my story can help anyone, then I'm just thrilled by that, and want to share my story.
The false identity, alias in town, the false identity.
Yes, exactly.
A lot of people are walking around, Anita, with a false identity. They don't know who they are. They're not taking the time to know who they are, how
Right.
they are made up. They're not taking the time to connect with Source, with God, with the universe.
Yes.
They are just caught up in themselves and the ego, which is controlling them. Caught up with this false identity, defining themselves by their job titles, the money,
yes, that is
the
so
car,
dangerous.
the marriage, the husband, the status, the whatever.
And all of those things are just they are temporary.
They're meaningless.
And they're meaningless.
They're meaningless.
When you source your identity out of those things, you are left empty. You are just left empty. I like to say that who I am is not, it's not who I am, it's whose I am.
That's right.
I belong to God. I'm a child of God. I'm an heir to the kingdom. You know, that's who I am.
Hello, you're a child of God. You're a princess. You're a queen.
Exactly.
You're a child of a king. And we know that any child of a king is a princess.
Yes, exactly. I am more than a conqueror.
Of course, of course, of course. You have a kingdom waiting for you. But wait, I don't understand. You have a kingdom waiting for you. You are the heir to the throne.
I am. And, you know, even not only do I have a kingdom waiting for me, but I have a fantastic kingdom to live in right now.
That's what I'm saying.
The kingdom of God is right here, and we can live as a citizen in that kingdom, and we can thrive in it.
Yeah.
All we have to do is take that glance, like I said before, God is right there. Just
yes, shift your eyes and keep it there. Keep it there. And you know, I was at an expo. What today? Today's Monday. I was involved in an exposition on Saturday. And while I'm sitting there at my booth, you know, and he kept coming to me, and I kept connecting with him, and he keeps saying to me every now and again, be present, Corine, be present, be present, be present. And I kept coming back, you know, coming back because, you know, it's easy to get busy, people coming in, people coming to your booth, people asking you questions, who having conversation, noise. And he's like, be present in the moment, be present, be present. And I'm like, thank you, Lord, be present. And I'm sitting there, and people don't know what's going on with me, but I'm just sitting there praying, and I'm like, be present. And it was one of my best events ever, actually, taking part. You know?
That's wonderful.
And I just kept thanking him, you know, and it's amazing. And he kept saying to me, you're so beautiful. You know, he told me how beautiful I am. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Yeah, how beautiful and sexy and wonderful, you know, and I'm having my little conversation by myself, you know, with him at my booth. I'm not talking outward, you know, like how I'm talking to you, but
I know what you mean. Sure.
Yeah, but I'm having a lengthy conversation.
That internal conversation is so important. The internal conversation that we have, and the ability to do that is amazing. Yeah. And it's the only way that we can replace those horrible tapes that play in our head.
Oh Lord, I prefer that. I prefer that conversation rather than the tape, you know, because
absolutely.
Which beast are you going to feed? Which one are we going to feed?
Right.
And you have to choose the one you want to feed. And I choose to feed the positive side. I choose to feed the spiritual side. I'm not saying that I'm like this all the time. I don't want anybody listening to this feel that I'm just so holier than thou and I'm not open to weakness. No, it does happen, and I do fall. And, you know, things happen, and I'm like, oh, forgive me. Although he knew I was going to do it anyway. you know. Forgive me, but it was my moment at that point in time, and I'm going to do my best to, because we are constant work in progress.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And don't beat up on yourself.
Right.
And yeah, don't beat up on yourself. And God has forgiven us. Coming back to R.C. Blake, he said, God has forgiven you already. He has forgiven you. Why are you still beating up yourself?
Right, right. And if and when you think about try to project into the future, what am I trying to say? When you sit and you think about your future, and then you bash yourself because you aren't living up to what your future self should be, you're not living in the moment.
No.
And that is, that is something that I get really guilty of. Is I think, oh, I should be farther along in my journey than this.
Oh gosh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. And but that's a self-torture.
Yeah, it is. And when I do that, I'm not living in the moment. I'm trying to worry about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eckhart Tolle mentions it. He says you're here, but you want to be there.
Right.
You can't be two places at the same time. You're here and you're over there.
You can't be in two places at once.
No. How could you be here and you're over there? You're thinking.
Yeah, only God can be in one place at one time.
No, I don't have that capability yet.
Right. Right. So
my
true.
Goodness. But you were fortunate, huh? You are one of the fortunate ones who attempted suicide, and wasn't successful. And even there's some people who tried it, really even tried a better approach than you, and they realized, my God, I can't even kill my own self. I'm not even good at that.
It's true. It's true. That's what I thought when I woke up that next morning. I thought that, oh gosh, I'm not even good at this. I fail at this too.
I fail at that too. I can't even do anything right. I fail at that.
I thought I did fail at that.
Thank God you failed. It's like God is keeping you. You're not supposed to do it. Come on, that's what he's saying.
Right, that's exactly why. Yes, exactly why.
Forget it. What are you trying to do? Can't you see that I'm telling you, you have a purpose here? Stop doing that. Oh my God, he's so funny. I mean, if people just sit down and have a conversation with him. Sometimes I just don't do anything for the day. And like you say, abide in him. I just rest in him. And I'm like, and he would tell me, he says, Corine, don't do anything. I just want to hang with you.
There you go.
Yeah, I just want to rest in you. Yeah, and I just lie in my bed. I pull over the covers and I'm saying, come, let's lie down. Let's hug up. And, and I just hug him up. And we just hug up and talk. Sometimes I fall asleep. I get up. We continue the conversation. I'm like, ooh, that was nice.
Yeah, before I go to sleep at night, I try to imagine myself being held and rocked.
Oh, yes.
Arms. Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? Isn't that an awesome
It really is. It really is. Those loving arms.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that? And you feel the warmth.
Right. Never rejected.
No. Oh, my God. As you talk about that, too. And that's another thing we go through. We are rejected by other people, and it is so painstaking.
Right.
But God never rejects us.
Never. Never rejects us. Never turns us away.
No.
He's always there. Always.
So why are we, when somebody rejects you in the physical realm, we have to remember, hold on, you rejected me? Really? I have somebody who never rejects me.
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly. And our tendency is to think, well, if one person does, and that must be how everybody feels about me.
Yes.
We have a tendency to project that onto the whole world. It's like, no, that's one person and one person's problem, and it's their problem, not yours.
Exactly. They're actually rejecting themselves. It's not you. It's their problem. It's not you. Most people out there hate themselves, and they walk around projecting that hate on you and blaming you. It's them.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't own that. You just have to let that go. You
have to let that go, and you have to recognize that. But you have to you see, when you're in the spiritual realm, you're able to see it for what it is. When you're in the physical with them, you get caught up.
Yes.
You get caught up, and you start to accept what they dish out and project on you. You have to be in the spiritual realm to see to see really what, uncover those eyes. You know, you
Take
cannot
off the
use
blinders.
you can't use your physical eyes to see that, because it's in the spiritual realm. So you cannot use your physical eyes to see that.
Right. Yes. You
It's
see with the eyes of your
amazing.
heart.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Anita, I want to jump over to your website.
Okay.
Let me see if I can grab a page here. Hold on.
aliasintown.com.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm bringing it up here now. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let me see if I can share it.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
And there you are with a beautiful haircut.
Yep. Here I am.
Yes, alias in town, Christian author and speaker. Is there anything that you have on your website that you would like to be featured?
Well, it really is about the two books that I've written.
Mm-hmm.
So, and over there on the left-hand column, there are some reviews
Mm-hmm.
of the book Well.
Mm-hmm.
And the book Well is really about my journey and how I became restored
Mm-hmm.
in God after going through a suicide attempt.
Mm-hmm.
And the book is really unique because I created it with pulling out excerpts from my journals
Mm-hmm.
and creating original artwork,
Mm-hmm.
writing essays. And I started doing that and putting it in a scrapbook. I didn't intend to write a book. I just put it in a scrapbook. And then when it was done, I decided that, you know what, I think this scrapbook can turn into something. And so what the book Well is actually a scrapbook that I put together.
So that just tells people that it doesn't matter what you have, it can be turned into a book.
There you go. And then the other book is The Hebrew Names of God, and that's just a simple Bible study. And I offer it for free. So all you have to do is just click on the thing to get it for free, and all you have to do is just sign up for something that I call Club Well. And what that does is it just says I'll send you the book for free, and then you can just participate in this Facebook group. If you would like to participate, you don't have to, but you can join a Facebook group of people that just talk about what it's like to live well, to live life to the fullest.
Great. So share with us 2 or 3 of your favorite Hebrew names of God. And what do they mean?
That's pretty simple. My favorite one is Jehovah Jireh. Yes. Which means God will provide. And I tell you what, that is something that I know that He is faithful and faithful and faithful in His provision. And whenever I start to get worried or anxious about what's going to happen the next day or in the future, I can look back at the past and see that God has been there and provided all the time. So Jehovah Jireh. Another one is Jehovah Shammah, which is the God of peace. Oh, yeah. And the peace that is talked about for God is the peace that just goes beyond anything that we can understand. And it is, when you wish someone the peace of God, you are wishing them for it to be exactly as God intended it to be. And that is God's peace, which is so amazing and so awesome and so restful. Yes. So those are my 2 favorites. Yes.
Wonderful. Hebrew names of God. Why do you think that God has so many names in the Bible? Why were so many different names are given to Him?
I think it is what it is the way that the Israelites back in those days named people. When they chose a name for their child, for someone, they chose it because of something that they wanted them to accomplish in life. Yes. And so a name reflects who they are and what they do. And so the way that happened is that when God would interact with someone and He did something miraculous, then they said, okay, God, you are God, you're Jehovah, and this is what you did for me. You provided for me, so you're Jehovah Jireh. Yeah. Or you are the God you're a holy God, so you are Jehovah Sidkenu. And those are things where God had miraculously worked in somebody's life. And out of that, they usually always built an altar to Him, and then they gave Him a name.
Nice.
And that became a name that has just kind of stayed in, because it's in scripture, it has stayed forever.
Yeah.
And so we can learn what they are and how they apply to us and how they applied back at the time that the person gave God the name.
You know, I'm going to take a lesson from that. And I hope others would as well. No, not because it's in the Bible, you just follow and take those same names. People were real in the Bible and they had an experience with him and they gave him a name.
Yes.
We have our own experience with him.
Yes.
We can give him a name for our experience as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And what he means to us. So it's not to say we have an experience and we suddenly just take the name from the Bible and feel that's the only name.
Right.
We can call him anything, of course, respectfully. Call him anything based on our experience with him. And that is what we hold on to because we know this is the impact that he has had in our life or that he has in our life. And
I had to pick a name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. If I had to pick a name for God of what's going on in my life right now, I would say he is God, the God of hope.
Yes.
He's my hope. And that would be based on the what I consider to be a miracle in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's given me hope, and it's hope that is huge. It's a big bundle that kind of wells up inside of me and makes me realize that I don't have to be afraid for the future. I don't have to worry about what this illness will do to me because I have hope.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's besides hope and besides hope, for me, it's sustenance. He has been sustaining me.
That's amazing.
He's been and I'm telling you, without him and his grace and mercy, I would not be here. He is my sustenance. And when you say sustenance, you think of food. You think of what is keeping you going, what is nourishing you, what is making you wake up in the morning, what is making you still smile under all the circumstances and the life situation, what allows you to still give to others even though you may not have, what it means to say a good word to somebody and inspire them even though you are going through hell.
Right. Yes.
You still have the energy, you still have the positivity, you still have that light to share with others and spread to the world. He sustains me.
Yes, that's great. That's fantastic. I would love for people to email me and tell me what they think.
Yes.
What name would they give God given this season of life? That would be great. My email is Anita Marie Wilson at aliasintown.com.
Yeah.
And boy, that would be great. That would be a wonderful thing to hear from people and say, who is God to you right now? What name would you give God? Yeah.
What's your experience? What would you name him? I think you should put that in your Facebook group and have it as a conversation.
Yes, I think I will.
I think you should. You should. It is. Yes. Yeah. And that just came out of me just asking that question. And you explaining, and it resonated with me so much because it's the one thing that we need to hold on to, because that is what those people in the Bible did.
Oh,
they had that experience and they held on to that. So anytime the devil or the distractions come in to make them shift their gaze, they have to have something to come right back to say, no. This is the man who sustained me.
And I like that they built a memorial too. I mean, that was the other thing that was very consistent, is they always built a memorial to God in some way. And so I actually did that. I took some stones and I created I built a well, a little miniature well.
Yes.
Because the name of my book is Well. But I built this little miniature well out of some stones, and I just set this up as this is my memorial. This is now when I look at that, I'm reminded all the time that the well is my source of it's my sustenance, like you had said.
Yeah.
Like you draw water out of a well, same kind of thing. And to remind myself that it is well with me, it is well with my soul.
I love that song. Yes. And we know, I don't know if you know the story behind that, but that man went through hell.
Yes, I do know that story.
I looked up the story some time ago, and when I read it, I'm like, oh my God, this man should have just killed himself right after, because he had every reason to.
Yeah. And what an amazing story that is. And to say, even so, it is well with my soul.
Yeah, and he stayed because he kept his gaze on God.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
the only reason, you know.
It is.
That is
Truly
the
is.
only reason that man kept going.
Yes.
He
Absolutely.
lost his children, his wife, everything. Everything went down. Business,
Everything.
everything. House, money.
Like,
He,
just like Job.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He just kept his gaze
Yes.
on God. That was all.
Yes.
Don't shift your gaze, people. I mean, there were so many little nuggets, golden nuggets from this episode, from talking with you, Anita.
It
It's
was
amazing.
wonderful.
Yes, it's
Wonderful.
amazing. We have learned so many. What's your relationship? How would you call God to you? What's your experience with Him? Don't take your gaze. Just shift. Don't even shift your head. Just shift your eye. Just
Yes.
shift
Yeah.
your eyes. He's not
Mm-hmm.
even asking you to turn your head or your body. Just shift your eyes a little to His direction. That's
Yes.
all. And
Yes.
once you're captured by that light, I could tell you, there's no turning back.
Yeah. No turning back.
No turning back.
I have decided to follow. There's no turning back.
Yes, no turning back. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Anita, for being on Between the Lines.
Oh, you are welcome. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, my darling. And
Okay.
all the best with you, your illness. Well, you don't have any illness. What are we saying? You're not ill, you're well.
I'm well. I am well.
You
That's
are.
right.
You are well.
My physical body is the weakest part of me, but I as a whole being, I am a well person.
You are well, and you are well
Mm-hmm.
with your soul.
Yes.
Thank God. Thank God. Anita,
Yes.
thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your
You're welcome.
experience, for being vulnerable to us, and for giving somebody hope today.
Oh,
To
good.
let them know that it is well with their soul. Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.